Hello and welcome back to the Bag of Bones. I want to tell you about something that happened 30 years ago when I was taking my family on a trip from Amsterdam, the Netherlands, down to the French Riviera, where France meets the Mediterranean Sea. As were driving on the freeway, I noticed that at about 100 yards parallel to the freeway, I saw a railroad track with really tall, strong fencing on either side of it, I guess to prevent animals from getting on the track. And as we were driving at a pretty good speed, I guess it was about 95 miles an hour, all of a sudden from my right, from behind me, I saw this incredibly fast train zooming by, and in a matter of 10 seconds, it was out of sight. As we saw the train disappear, I just noticed three letters on the side of the train. Letters TGV, which stands for Très Grande Vitesse, or in English, very high speed. This was what we call the bullet train. And now, with that in my memory, I'm going to take you along a ride on board that bullet train. We will travel from the romantic city of Paris down to the coast of the French Riviera. And along this trip, we will see all kinds of things in a record speed. What we do as we move along the countryside, we will look inside our bag with bones that is safely placed on the table in front of us in this train, and we will take out the pieces of bone and form the skeleton. So we will start with the little toes, and then we go up into the heel and the ankle bone and work our way up. So as we are driving through the French countryside, we leave the hustle and bustle of Paris, which makes room for the suburban area around Paris, and little by little, the countryside makes way for pastures with very fat but happy cows. And we take another little bone out of our bag and place it in the foot. As we get further south, we see the landscape change to beautiful fields full of sunflowers. We see all of a sudden the color change to purple, and we go through fields of lavender. And we pick out another bone out of our bag and place it on the foot. And as we go further south, we go through the valley of the Loire River with all its beautiful palaces and castles, and you can see that in those days there was opulence there. We'll continue our trip south, and as we climb slowly and go slowly down river valleys, we see vineyard after vineyard after vineyard. But we cannot stop now to taste the grapes. We have to keep going. And we take another bone out of our bag and place it. And now we are getting to the ankle bone. And we keep going and we look outside, and slowly but surely the landscape changes to a more rocky area. And we place another bag, a bone out of their bag, and now we are somewhere in the lower leg and actually even onto the kneecaps. And now we see that the area is mountainous, and we call this the Haute Provence in France. But we can't stop here. We have to keep going. We take more bones out of our bag and place it on the skeleton, which is forming now. And now we see forests and we see flatlands, and the landscape changes. And little by little, we start to see more of an urban area. And we are approaching the city of Lyon, where we come to a stop to drop off passengers and to take on more passengers going south. As we pick up speed again, we take another bone out of our bag, and this time the bone is Psalms, which we can then place somewhere in the rib cage. And we move along further, and now, little by little, we see the landscape change to that of dunes. And we see now, when we take bones out of our bag, that we are approaching the skull. And before we know it, we see all of a sudden the beautiful blue Mediterranean Sea. And we look at our skeleton and we see the skeleton is complete. We have arrived at our destination and it is beautiful. We look back inside the train and we see the skeleton standing there. Now, this skeleton is our backbone, our complete structural support that will guide us in our Bible study. And guess what? Next time when we take this trip, we're not going by train anymore. We are taking the bicycle. And with the bicycle, we can go to these fat, happy cows, and we see the multitude of French cheeses that are produced out of their good milk. And little by little, we dive deeper into the Bible. And that is the whole intention of this Bag of Bones video series, to get you very familiar with the structure of the Bible, so that when you take a piece of meat, a healthy piece of muscle, for instance, the muscle that is Psalm 23, you know to place it on the skeleton right where the heart is. And hope you join me with our next video. Thank you.